So once upon a time, the only brand that really I used was Lancome. I was pretty much 100% Lancome consumer. I had everything except for lipsticks. I did have some. I had a lot of Lancome lipsticks, but I also had other brands. But as far as my makeup, I was pretty much 100% Lancome. So in today's video, I want to do a complete face of Lancome. I only have a couple of products that I don't own in Lancome, and that's brows. But everything else is going to be Lancome. And I do have some products that they just released. Lancome really doesn't release a lot of new products very often. They're a brand that pretty much once in a while they'll give you something special, but overall they stick in their lane. They're very underrated. Not a lot of people talk about Lancome, but it is a beautiful brand. I think they are very mature skin friendly, but I don't want to keep blabbing because I don't want this video to take forever. So I'm going to start with a primer, and this is the priming serum. It's a 24-hour hydrating solid smoothing primer. I love this. This is the refill. When I purchased it, I didn't realize that I was buying the refill, but it does secure close very nicely, so I would have to buy the entire thing with, they don't sell just the outer packaging by itself. So until I use this one up, and as you can see, I've used quite a bit of it. I don't plan on, purchasing the right component. But yeah, when I purchased it, it was like, oh, I didn't want to return it. I know that most companies throw away products that you return to them. So I didn't feel comfortable just sending it back because I ordered the wrong thing. And this works okay. I've had it for a little bit and it has not dried out. So I'll just keep it and use it until I'm done with it. So it is pore blurring. I think that it does a really good job. It doesn't feel thick. It looks thick when you look at it, but once you put it on your face, it kind of thins out. So it's not bad at all. So I'm going to let it sit for a couple of minutes. In the meantime, I am going to prime my eyelids. So I'm just going to prime my eyes right now, and then we'll go ahead and put the foundation on. I just want the primer to just sit for a few seconds. And I'm priming it with the Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Wear All Over Concealer. And this is in the shade Bisque. I think it's Bisque, B-I-S Neutral. I'm going to put just a tiny bit more in my inner corner, because this corner, oh my gosh, it doesn't matter what I do to it. It stays so dark. When you get older, the darkness around your eyes is real. For foundation, I brought two of them. I brought the Teint Idole Ultra Wear Care and Glow, and then I brought the regular Teint Idole Ultra Wear. I think I'm going to do the Teint Idole Ultra Wear. The other one is a little more hydrating, and I end up a little more shiny during the day. So this one is kind of runny, but it's a beautiful coverage. And I'll let you know what shade I'm in right now. This is in the shade 235N. So I'm going to use this brush by BK Beauty. This is the 115, which is, I think, one of the new ones that she just released recently. But this is a very long lasting foundation. It is a medium coverage and buildable. I would say it does a really good job of covering any hyperpigmentation that you have. Maybe not 100%, but pretty much covers it without having to build it a lot. I have loved this foundation for a long time. I also love, and for years, the only foundation that I would wear was their powder foundation. That one was a favorite, especially when I was working, because it was so quick. I would have to get up. I started working at like 6:30 in the morning. So I didn't have time for all of this. So 99% of the time I would use the powder foundation because that was quick. And I'm not one to get ready in a car, especially if I'm driving. So sometimes the only thing that I wouldn't put on would be lipstick, and I would do that once I got to the office. I want to take what's left on the back of my hand and just build it around my cheeks where I have the most darkness. Alright, so then I'm going to use a concealer. I'm going to put it in the back of my hand and grab it from there. I'm not going to use a corrector today so you can see exactly how much this covers. I'm going to take the BK Beauty A506 and grab a little bit of the concealer. Oops. I don't want to get inside my eye because then my eye will start. Oh my gosh. I did this the other day, not with this concealer. I don't know if this one will burn, but the one that I was using, wow, my eye would not stop crying, and I had already put mascara on my upper lashes, and it was not pretty. I'm going to take the one that I used the foundation and just make sure that this all blends down here under my eyes. I don't get bags under my eyes, but while these hollows right here have really gotten dark, and it's kind of hard to cover them, especially without a corrector, but I didn't want to use a corrector today. But this area, my nose, I do have some broken capillaries, and sometimes those are hard to cover, but this foundation does a pretty good job actually. And I'm just going to take what's left of my concealer and just go in that area. I'm going to take a little tiny bit more and go right here. Alright, so one of the new things that they released was the powder, and it's a Teint Idole Ultra Wear Skin Refining Setting Powder, and it's a pressed powder. And this one it claims to be breathable wear, pore blurring effect, second skin effect, resists creasing or caking, and locks in your makeup. So it is beautiful packaging. It's a similar packaging as the bronzer that they released late last year. So I've had this since they released it, and it's a beautiful bronzer. So this is what it looks like. It does bring a little poof. I'm not going to be using that today, but this is what it looks like. It's very beautiful. It does have the Lancome rose embossed in the middle. May not look like a rose, but it's a rose. And I have mine in the shade 02 Fair. They do have several shades. I didn't want to get a darker shade because I don't want it to add coverage to my makeup. I just want to use it as a setting powder. So I'm going to use this brush right here. This is the 05 by REPHR. And I'm just going to use some, especially in my T-zone. Let me see. It is finely milled. Look, you can barely pick any up with your hand. So I like that. I like not creating any kind of kick up in the pan, which is really nice. I'm just going to lightly set. This is not a heavy powder whatsoever. Why am I using two mirrors? This has a mirror. So I'm just going to lightly set my face. And that way I can see if it's drying or what it does. Whatever is left on my brush, I'm going to use under my eyes just to set my concealer. And then I'm going to smooth this out because since it's a concealer, it kind of creases a little bit. I'm going to grab a little bit of the powder and set my lids. Okay, so far I think I picked the right shade because it really did not add any kind of coverage to my face. As far as the blurring, I can still see my pores quite a bit. I don't see any difference between prior to powder and after powder, but we'll see. We'll see when the whole look is completed. Okay, so I'm going to use a little bit of the bronzer I'm going to use this brush right here for the bronzer. This is an e.l.f. And the bronzer, I have it in the shade, this is the second, O2 Light. I couldn't see there's another one that is a little lighter, but I just thought that one wouldn't even show up on my face. But this is a pretty bronzer. It is not too warm. And the Lancome makeup will last all day. You don't need to worry about having to reapply, you know, your foundation breaking up or disappearing on you, or your blush disappearing on you. It is really good quality. It always has been. It is pricey. I would say it would be considered luxury pricing, but you really get what you pay for. This is one brand that you really get your money's worth. I'm going to take the powder brush and just blend a little bit. Okay, they also come out with some new blushes, which has been forever since I created any new blushes or shades. This one is in the shade 700 Coral Clash, and it's a powder blush, fusion colored, buildable intensity. And let me see if it has any other. Ultra fine. This powdery texture fuses with the skin for a fresh and natural looking complexion with all day comfort. Vivid color selection, easy to apply thanks to the precision brush. Now they do bring a brush. I never use the brushes in these. I just don't think they're very useful. So we're gonna leave that there. And I'm going to use the same little brush, and this is a shade right here. I don't have a lot of coral blushes, so I decided to go with this one. And I don't know, it just looks springy, summery. This is a shade right there. So we are going to go with the same brush I used for the bronzer. I'm going to go easy and build it up because I have a little brush hair there. This is from the REPHR brush. I'm going to go easy because these can be pretty intense. It is a matte. Is it matte? No, it does have a little bit of a sheen, but it definitely doesn't look glowy on my face, which I appreciate that. Let me use this brush. I think that one is a little too dense and it's not really doing much of anything. I have sheet marks. Looks like I have texture on my face, but that's sheet marks. So we're going to ignore that. It's early in the morning. It's like 8 o'clock a.m. I just woke up. Okay, so we're going to leave that there. Now we're going to do the eyes, and then I'll do the highlighter at the end. So this is what I'm going to use on my eyes today. This is the Hypnose palette and O2 Beige Brulee. This is what it looks like. And it's more on the cooler side, I think. I guess I already disposed of the little brushes. I usually don't get rid of the little brushes just because I don't like to see an empty space. I'd rather keep it looking nice and tidy. So I normally don't get rid of the brushes. I wonder why I did there, but okay, so we're going to start with this shade right here, and then we're going to darken it with this one on the outer V, and then this one in the lid. So this one only has one shimmer and the rest of them are matte. I'm gonna do my brows really quick, and I don't, like I said, I don't have brow products from Lancome, so I'm gonna use this one. Is from Loreal, and it's one of those micro pencils, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So for mascara, I am going to use their Lancome. This is called Le 8 Hypnose Drama. I really do enjoy most Lancome mascaras, and this one is no exception. They give you volume, they give you length, they don't flake. I cannot use them on my lower lash line because it will smudge on me, but like I said before, most mascaras smudge on my lower lash line. So I'm going to use 2 coats, and I'll be right back. Okay, this is a brand new tube, so it's taking a little, it will look better after it's been open for a little bit. Okay, I'm going to take this lighter shade right now and apply it to my brow bone. Okay, and we're done. So this is not going to be, let me move you up a little more so you can see a little better. This is it's not going to be a highly pigmented eyeshadow look. Lancome is more soft and subtle, but I love that about them. I don't always want something that is going to be in your face, and I like the fact that this eyeshadow look, and if you're new to my channel, I do have a little spot right there that is not the eyeshadow, it is not patchy, it's my eyelid. That little spot, it doesn't like to take any pigment, so it's always gonna look like the eyeshadow is blotchy, but it's not the eyeshadow. Okay, so I think that that's a pretty subtle look. Okay, so let's go for the highlighter. The highlighter is called the Teint Idole Ultra Wear CE Skin Transforming Highlighter. Okay, so it says that it's infused with vitamin C and vitamin E. It's skin fusing texture, multi-dimensional glow, and buildable intensity. I got mine in the 01 Light Glow. This I had a hard time choosing, so I went for the lightest one because there were other ones that I wasn't sure if they would be too dark for me. So this is what it looks like. It looks very pretty. There's like no glitter or anything like that on it. I didn't bring a real fluffy brush, so I'm going to use this one. I'm just going to use the tip. And I like my highlighters to be very subtle. I don't like them to be very blingy so that you can see them for the moon. That's just not me. So I don't know if I can even, can I see it? Oh well, let me use, I'm going to use this brush. Yeah, I can see it on the brush. Yeah, I can see it now. I wasn't picking it up with that other brush. It's very pretty. It's like a very light. Okay, I'm going to take the brush that I used for my blush and just go over the edge. It almost looks like has a hint of pink in it, which I love highlighters that have pink in it. I think they look beautiful. Okay, I'm going to grab a little bit of that on the small brush, put it in my inner corner. Okay, I think that's nice. I like it. So I haven't seen too many reviews of these new products except for the bronzer. But the highlighter, the reviews that I read, people either love it or they don't like it. And I think the people that don't like it are probably the ones that are looking for a more blingy highlighter, which this is not. This is more subtle, but I think it's very mature skin friendly. It's not, I don't feel like it's accentuating any kind of skin texture. I don't think it looks heavy on my face. I think it looks very pretty. So this is definitely beautiful. I like it. Now as far as the powder, it looks nice on my face. It doesn't look heavy on my face. I'm going to try to apply a little more. Right now that I'm done, I'm going to use this brush right here and just like right here. Almost like a finishing powder to see if it blurs a little more, which I don't see it doing. So as far as blurring, I don't think it does. But as far as keeping your makeup set, I will pin a comment letting you know how this all wore by the end of the day. I know how the foundation wears, I know how the concealer wears, and I mean, I have many of their blushes, so I don't think the blush was reformulated per se. I just think that they have new shades, but I'll let you know if anything doesn't look right by the end of the day. So for lipstick, this is not it's not new, either one. This is the lip liner in the shade Idole. And then the lipstick that I'm going to use is number 210, Unspoken Feelings. And I love the packaging. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And it has the Lancome Rose on the top. And you just push it. And this is what it looks like. It's a very beautiful nude. And it's a creamy matte. And this is a nude that I can get on board with. Now also, if I wear it with a darker lip liner, it will change the look altogether. But today I wanted to wear something a little more neutral. So this is my look. This is the Lancome look. I love Lancome. I think they are an absolutely beautiful brand, and they will always be in my collection. They have a special place in my heart. Like I said, this was probably the first high-end or luxury brand that I owned, and for many years I was exclusively Lancome. I would catch every gift with purchase that Macy's would have, or Nordstrom or Dillard's, and that's when I would repurchase anything that I needed, or if there was a new product that I wanted to try. I've gone through so many concealers, especially the powder foundation, blushes. I mean, I have actually panned many Lancome products. Now, not in the last recent years, because I have ventured out into other brands. But Lancome, like I said, is a brand that you can actually depend on. So this is it, guys. I hope that you enjoy the video. I hope that you enjoy the look. My eyes are looking a little dry, I think because I use this instead of my Aquaphor. I've noticed that this doesn't do as good a job. The Rock doesn't do as good a job as the Aquaphor, but you can always apply it over your concealer. It doesn't disturb the concealer, but it does add a little bit of hydration. And I know that when you smile, the lines are gonna show, but if my face is still, I don't want to see those lines. So let's see. Yeah, that helps. It looks a lot more hydrated right now. All right, you guys, thank you so much for spending some time with me. I love you, and I will see you soon on my next video. Bye, guys. Mwah.